Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the weekly rant. I don't really keep up with episodes, different things like that, but whatever the case may be, I come here on Thursdays. I'm getting back to being consistent. I'm all about consistency and accountability, all of that good stuff. But definitely, I'm back to discuss just some things to get back to you, honestly, because that's the thing that dawned on me yesterday whenever I was just sitting by myself and I was just like, bro, like you got to get back to you. Honestly, whatever that looks like you could be in a situation where you're like, man, I don't really like the way that things are going. I don't really like how things are turning out right now. But guess what? You know what you need to do in order to change it. So you need to get back to you. Honestly, a lot of times we go through life and we just go through the hustle and the bustle. We seem to be on autopilot just because things were working good for a little while. And then we just continuously allow that to go on. And then next thing we know, we're looking up and we're like, why is things not going the way that I wanted them to go? Because you allowed yourself to get stuck on autopilot. You didn't continuously tap in with yourself. You didn't continuously make sure that you're paying attention to the things that you need to do. So now it's time to get back to you. And that's what this is all about, talking about today. I just want to talk about getting back to you. And I do have a couple of strategies, a couple of tips to be able to share with you, to be able to help you to get back to you. So the first thing is to sit down and have a conversation with yourself and acknowledge where you are right now and why. The first thing is taking accountability for where you are in your life. Because whether you want to accept it or not, the reason why you are where you are in your life right now is a series of decisions that you have made. It's a series of choices that you have made. It's a series of things that you have done to get you up into this point. And that's why you are where you are. So it's important to make sure that you sit down and you just have that real moment with yourself. Because I say it all the time that you could fake the funk all day. We could show up here on social media. We could show up on lives. We could show up in person to events and different things like that. And we can put on this persona, right? We can show and present ourselves any way that we want to people, and they're just going to buy into it. But at the end of the day, whenever it's you and you, it's time to be real with yourself. Whenever it comes down at the end of the day and it's you talking to you, you have to be real with yourself. So you have to sit down and have that conversation with yourself and just acknowledge, ask yourself some questions like, how do I feel about where I am right now? Why am I in this position that I am right now? What decisions cause me to be in this position? Because honestly, once you take accountability for the part that you've played in getting to where you are, then that's whenever you can do the work. But if you're continuously deflecting, you're blaming it on a job, you're blaming it on a person, you're blaming it on a relationship, then you're never going to take the time to truly take that step to do the work that is needed for you to be able to grow. So you got to first have a conversation with yourself. Have a conversation with yourself and be real. This can look like really talking to yourself out loud. I talk to myself out loud all the time. So if you see me talking out loud to myself, just be like, oh, she's just doing some work. Like don't be in those particular type of way. But I talk to myself out loud. You could talk to yourself out loud in the comfort of your own home. You could sit and write things out. A lot of things that I like to do is write questions to myself. Where are we right now? How do we feel about where we are right now? What do we think about where we are right now? What needs to change about where we are right now? But definitely sit down and have that conversation with yourself and be very real. Be very real, be very blunt, be very vulnerable, because at the end of the day, this is going to help you to be able to grow. If you're not doing the things to help you to be able to grow, then really you're just sitting around wasting time and faking the funk. You can fake the funk only for so long, honestly, before reality seeps in and it's like, oh gosh, now I really got to do the work and I really got to make things happen and I really need to make a change, but I don't know where to start. You start with sitting down and having a conversation with yourself, deciding exactly where you are and why you are where you are. Because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, it's a result of the decisions that you have made up until this point. That's what it always boils down to, a result of the decisions that we have made up until this point. And if you want to see something different, you're going to have to make some different choices, honestly, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, period. Because you know how it is, you watch those movies and you're like, oh my gosh, da, 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 da. I wish this would happen. I wish that would happen. But you can wish all you want. But at the end of the day, you know the movie is still going to end the way that the movie is going to end. Honestly, like there is nothing different in regards to that. Look at your life like that. If you're continuously watching this movie and you're tired of the way that this movie is playing out, change something. You are the director of your life. You are the executive director. You are the screenwriter. You are the person that is back there pulling the strings, that are doing the things. You, your mindset, your ambition, whatever it is, you have to put in the work. You want to see something change, you got to change something. So the first step is to sit down and have a conversation with yourself and acknowledge where you are right now and why you are where you are right now, because that's going to lay the groundwork for you to be able to work further. Then the next thing is to decide what needs to change to get to where you want to be. Now, after you found out the reason as to why you're here, why, and sometimes I understand that some people would be like, oh, well, it's not that simple, da 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 da. Maybe you need to go to therapy. Maybe you need to talk to a therapist, because maybe a reason as to why you are where you are is a result of you just taking actions in regards to a trigger, in regards to a trauma response. Because honestly, whenever it comes down to things, a lot of times we just initially react to things because those are things that we have went through and something triggered us, and then we made a decision, and then that decision ends up spiraling into another decision and another decision and another decision. Then we wake up and we're like, dang, ah, things really could have went a little bit differently. Honestly, had I did something differently, things could have went differently. But sometimes you need to go to therapy to be able to do that work. But first, you got to sit down and figure out what it is, honestly. So once you figure out what it is, you got to decide what needs to change to get you to where you want to be. What do you need to do? Do you need to wake up earlier? For me, I can be very vulnerable. We're just talking about me right now, right? I can be very vulnerable and I can be very honest. Me, I don't have a problem waking up early, right? I don't have a problem with waking up early. I have a problem staying awake once I'm up early. Honestly, I have a problem staying awake once I'm up early. So I'll get up, I'll do my morning routine, I'll go through with everything, and whoop, whoop, whoop. Then I'll be like, let me lay down, take me a nap. Then they say, I wake up, I'm like, da 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 da, whatever the case may be. And it's like that's what I have to hold myself accountable with. And I created me a strategy to help me to overcome that. And honestly, that's what you're going to have to do. First, you need to decide what needs to change. Do you need to get up earlier? Do you need to stay up whenever you get up earlier like me? Do you, do you need to work out a little bit more? Do you need to have different conversations? Do you need to reach out to some more people? Do you need to post some more? Do you need to show up and go live some more? Do you need to go out to networking events and different things like that? Whatever it is, decide what you need to do to be able to get to where you want to be, to be able to make that change into your reality, so that way you can get to a place of where you want to be. That way you can get to a place of feeling better as to where you are in your life. Honestly, that's what you have to do. So step one is to sit and have a conversation with yourself and acknowledge where you are right now and why you are where you are. Then step two is to decide what needs to change to get to where you need to be. Now, the next thing, the third step, is to develop a strategy or tap in with strategies that help you to get from where you are to where you want to be. So this looks like maybe you've seen a coach that helps with being able to hold you accountable, or you've seen someone that really is very consistent along those lines and you want them to be able to hold you accountable, or you need to sit your phone across the room. Something that really helps me, especially to get up early in the morning, is sitting my phone across the room. And another strategy that I'm working on to be able to seize more of my mornings is practicing the 3-2-1 method. What is that? That's basically 3 hours before I go to sleep. I stop eating, don't drink any alcohol, all of that good stuff. Is to step two is to stop working. Step three is to cut off the screens. Cut off the screens an hour before it's time for you to go to sleep. And then outside of that, then it's different things like giving yourself a clean slate, putting things in place so that way you're not prompted to be able to make excuses as to, oh well, I don't even have the time to be able to get out my workout clothes or anything like that. You know what? I'm just not gonna do it. Like, no, like set yourself up for success. Take out your workout clothes in the evening prior to whenever you got to be ready. Get your stuff ready prior to whenever you have to have that ready. So that way, whenever it comes time for you to take action on those things, then you're just bam, ready to go. Versus being like, oh, well, I don't really feel like it. I don't really, yeah, I'll just do it later. Like, no, like really set yourself up for success. You have to be very intentional and deliberate with the things that you're doing. And if you don't know any strategies, you could definitely Google some, or you could schedule a call with me. Definitely tap in with me to be able to get those things set up. Hey, I'm here all about your accountability, all of that good stuff. Popped up the thing on the screen. You can scan the QR code or go to my website, schedule a consultation. Let's hop on a call. Let's talk about some things. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, what we can do to be able to get you there. Create an action plan for you to be able to take action, because that's what's important. It's important for you to be able to take action as to the place where you are right now. Because if you're not taking action, then what are you doing? So, step one is to sit and have a conversation with yourself and acknowledge where you are right now and why. This is the most key important fact. It's going to be probably one of the hardest things that you've done, especially if you're a person that's used to deflecting. You're a person that's not used to taking accountability for where you are. You're a person that's not used to a lot of things. Like, just sit down and really take accountability. Be real with yourself. There are no wrong answers here, honestly, because this is just about you, where you are, where you want to be, what your growth is, and all of that. So it's about you. So definitely take that time. Step one, sit and have a conversation with yourself and acknowledge where you are and why you are where you are. Step two is to decide what needs to change to get where you want to be. What do you need to do in order to change these things? What do you need to do to get to the place where you want to be? What do you need to do to create that habit that's going to help you going forward? What do you need to do to be able to change your reality right now and going forward? Step three is to develop a strategy or tap in with strategies that help you to get to where you want to be. So that looks like either you can hop on a call with me, we can create you an action plan, different things like that. Or you can be able to look at exactly what you need to do and develop you a strategy. What do you need to do? Do you need to get up earlier? Do you need to set your phones across the room to help you get up earlier? That's something that I do that helps me get up, because by the time you get up and you get out of bed and you're going way across the room to be able to get your phones, and it's like, hey, might as well stay up now, you know what I'm saying? So definitely do those things. Take the time to get back to you. Take the time to find what works for you. Take the time to acknowledge where you are and what you need to do to be able to move things along to be able to get to where you want to be. There are no time for excuses. We can make excuses all day. I don't know about you. I've made enough excuses in my life. I made plenty of excuses in my life. Plenty of excuses. I've made enough excuses for you, me, everybody, honestly. So it's time out for making excuses. It's time out for not doing the work. We have resources available. We have connections available. We have people available. There is no reason for you not to be taking advantage of these things and being able to progress your life further. So definitely take that time, follow those 3 steps. I hope these strategies help you. I hope these things help you to really start tapping in with you and get to where you want to be. Like, definitely. That's really all I got, y'all. Honestly, schedule a call with me, www.imoet.us for those people that are on Instagram and TikTok. For those people that are watching on YouTube, you see this QR code, just scan the QR code, all of that good stuff. It'll take you directly to where you need to be. But definitely utilize these strategies, utilize these tips. I hope this was very resourceful for you. I hope this was very helpful for you. If there are any specific things that you would like me to come on and talk about, to give my 2 cents, whatever the case may be, then definitely just DM me. Be like, hey girl, hey friend, I would like for you to be able to talk about this. I would like for you to be able to talk about that. Like, I'm not bougie. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? We could talk. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that show up here, that show up whenever I go live, that show up to my videos, that share my content, that like my content, that actually comment on my content, that subscribe to my content. I truly appreciate each and every one of you guys. And I hope you guys have a wonderful and amazing day. Remember that if you are a person that is having a bad day, you're just having a bad day, not a bad life. Life is too short to be anything but motivated. Now get out there and turn your dreams into a vision and make that your reality. All right? I love you guys. See you next week.